we come to the boys' trip. You guys, this whole section, I don't know if he was trying to describe how much in love he was with her, but all it was is like, dude, you were so whipped. This is disgusting. Like, you can care about somebody and still live your life. You don't need, this time you had with her was literally your third time seeing her, okay? So I guess you've already handed over what was left of your frozen Todger, but if you can manage to get it back, you should probably start that mission, because this is so gross. So he goes on this trip with his friends, but you can already see he's like totally, disenchanted with them. There used to be a time when he was out smoking and drinking and carrying on with the best of them, and that was good enough. But now that he has Megan in his life, he like looks at he's still involved with it. That's the thing. He's still acting like that, but he keeps talking about his, stupid drunken mates and they're so crazy and they're just so silly and so childish and so like lame. And it's all her projection on his friends. That's not how he ever felt about them. He obviously liked them. He wanted to go on a trip with them. There's a whole bunch of them going. They're supposed to have a good time. And the entire time is him obsessed with making sure he doesn't lose contact with Megan. And everybody has to be involved in his stress level regarding the broken connection that they end up having. Because he says that one day they were out on the jet skis in the river. And he said that he had taken the iPhone out of his pocket and put it in the console of the jet ski. Okay. Let me do you one better. And he's real proud of himself about that too, that he really thought clearly about what to do. But it's like, why don't you just leave your phone in your tent? You don't need it. What are you gonna text her while you're on the jet ski? Like, have a good time with your friends. Put your phone away. Anyway, he takes the phone, puts it into the console, but some stupid idiot friend of his decided to jump on the jet ski with him. Then another joker jumped on, and now there's 3 of them, and it's too many people on the jet ski. Well, they're cruising around trying to avoid the hippos and the crocodiles. He says that his friend Addie's hat flew off, and so his friend was like, go back, I gotta get it. And while he's trying to lean over and get the hat, and his friend's trying to help, they all fall into the river. His sunglasses fall off his face. He's trying to dive to go get them. And then he remembers that while they were spinning around, a crocodile had jumped into the water off a sandbank, so now he's hyper aware of the fact that he might be about to be chewed up. But all of that fear is replaced when he realized, oh my gosh, my phone, my iPhone. Apparently the jet ski had fallen to the side and now the console's flooding. Meg! Oh, what's he gonna do now? How's he gonna get into contact with her? What about all his text messages? Well, she's got all the text messages, she can let you know what y'all said if you, need them. He says that he'd known this lad's trip was going to be wild, so he'd sent some of his photos to Meg and some other mates before leaving as a precaution. Don't you have iCloud? Like, you didn't back any of these up? I'm sure that they can do something for you at the Apple Store. Anyway, he says that the rest were surely lost. But the worst thing was, how is he going to stay in touch with her on this trip? How is he going to go on? And more importantly, she's going to be so pissed off when she finds out, like when he can't get in touch with her. That's really what it is, okay? I'm not saying he didn't want to talk to her, but now his heart rate is up because she's mad. She's gonna get mad. She's gonna get mad. She's gonna get mad, And so it's like that. Now that's the drumbeat. It's not she's perfect. She's perfect. She's perfect. It's she's mad. She's mad. She's mad. She's mad. She's mad. I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this. And you see this entire trip just to start to disintegrate because now he can't talk with her, and he is so worried about her reaction that now it's everybody's problem. He says that his friends were like, oh, don't worry, we'll put it in a bag of rice and we'll dry it out. And he's like, well, how long is that going to take? I don't know, a day or 2. And he's like, no, it's not good. I have to have a solution now. They work out a plan. He says, I could write a letter to Meg, which he'd take home with him to Tej. And then Tej would photograph the note. And then she would text it to Meg because she had Meg's number in her phone from when she had to pick her up from the airport. And so that's how Megan would know that I wasn't ignoring her. I'm not, okay? Don't get mad. I'm not. My phone fell in the river with a crocodile, but I'm not ignoring you, okay? I'm not. And so he's like desperately looking around. He's like, I gotta find paper. He's gotta find a pen. Pen. Is anybody a pen? What do you want? Like his friends are like, what is the panic? And he's like, a pen, a biro. Oh, wow, a biro. The biro again! The man can't can't get a pen without immediately having flashbacks to the disdain of Aunt Margot. Anyway, finally he finds one. He goes and sits under a tree and he composes a note. He writes, "Hey, beautiful, okay, you got me. I can't stop thinking about you, missing you, lots. Phone went in the river, sad face. Apart from that, have an amazing time, but wish you were here." So he hands over the letter to Mike. Mike takes it back. Days later, they wrap up the boating part of the lads' trip. They return to Tej and Mike. Tej immediately says, "Relax, I got a reply. Calm down, it's gonna be okay." "So it hadn't been a dream. Oh, thank God. Meg's real. All of it's real." And he says that he's just so, like, finally, like, all the panic, he can calm, he can breathe, it's gonna be okay. And he starts off on the second part of his trip. And this time he brought a satellite phone because he's not about to get stuck in that place again. The problem is you can't really text or send pictures, but at least they can talk. So he says that he climbs all the way up to the top of trees so he can get better reception. He dials Meg, or before he can say anything, she blurts out, "I know I shouldn't say this, but I miss you." I know I shouldn't say that, but God, I do. And of course he's like, "Well, I shouldn't say it either, but I miss you." It's like, you guys grow up. Well, why shouldn't you say that? Are you two adults in a relationship or aren't you? Like, what is this, like, immature middle school games you're playing? It's so many games. So many games. Why can't you just be like, "Oh my gosh, I miss you. Sounds like you're having an amazing time. I miss Africa. I miss the time we spent together. Tell me everything that's happening." Like, be a normal human being. You could say you miss somebody. Like, why is that like some, beyond the pale to admit it? It is if you're in 6th grade. Okay, so now on the second part of the trip, he continues on, just not being part of the trip, but totally in his mind 1,000 miles away with Megan. He finds it hard to write letters to her because he just can't think of the right things to say. So what he decides to do is, like, he'll write her a letter, but then he goes around wherever they are picking flowers and interesting bits of flora and fauna, and then he composes like a scene, and he'll write a letter and he'll burn the edges of the letter and like encircle it with a lot of flowers and pretty barks and bugs and interesting things. Then he will use somebody else's phone to take a picture of it, and we'll send it using somebody else's phone, and then wait patiently for her answer, and then she replies, and she even signed it, "Your girl." He congratulates himself on the end of this trip because he says that this, even though he's had to have constant improvisation, despite the sheer determination, somehow he's managed throughout the lads' trip to stay in constant contact. And he says that when he finally returned to Britain, he felt a huge sense of accomplishment. He hadn't let soaked phones and drunken mates and a lack of mobile reception or a dozen other obstacles scuttle the beginning of this beautiful, whatever it's called. Like, he doesn't quite know what label to put on this. But I would say you felt like that was an accomplishment, that you sacrificed this time with your friends to be in a completely, like, to be ripped apart because half of you is with Megan, half of you is trying to be here with your friends. Like, just be in the moment, just be present. The best thing that could have happened to you was to lose your phone, because then you might have been able to invest your time with your friends. But it's like, he's like, I was in constant contact, but like with who? Not with reality. Because those guys asked you to come and be part of the trip, and you're just half in, half out. I mean, what an insult to them. You're not with Megan, okay? When you're with Megan, you can fawn all over her and be like, whisper sweet nothings into each other's ears. But for right now, you're with these people. Be with these people, And so here we begin to see the degradation of his friendships, because who wants to be with this guy whose whole world is wrapped up in somebody who isn't there? Now, granted, Harry has had a long history of his world being wrapped up in somebody who's not there, so maybe they're used to it. But, freaking out about his phone, making everybody like take pictures and travel distances so that those pictures can be sent, and, constantly like going off the beaten path. They're all going this way, he's going that way because there's flowers and bark and bugs to pick up to put in his little pictures. It's like, what an annoyance that would have been